Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. What do we have here? Well, we have about 8 topics, and let's start with the first one. Let's get right into it. Ukrainska Pravda. UK Defense Intelligence analyzes Russian advance near Vuhledar. So that's one. Vuhledar, let me show you where that is. It is southwest of Pokrovsk, where the garbage occurs mainly. So this is the Russian offensive towards Pokrovsk. The Russians call it Krasnoarmeysk. So Vuhledar, or Ugledar as the Russians call it, is right here. So just straight down here, a little bit to the west, is Ugledar. This is where the Brits are saying Russian advance near Vuhledar. Did you know there was a Russian advance in Ugledar right here? And here I have Pavlovka. So this is by Zaporozhye Oblast right here. This is Donetsk Oblast. So let's see what the UK Defense Intelligence says, because they know things. UK Defense Intelligence has stated that the Russian army has managed to make tactical advances near Vuhledar in recent weeks. Did you know that? Recent weeks, not days, weeks, and it is likely to remain a difficult front. Difficult for whom? For the Ukrainians? Well, just had to change the angle, didn't like it. All right, so let's go back. The UK Defense Intelligence update dated 7th of September on Twitter. Russia has previously made repeated attempts to assault the town, which resulted in heavy losses, but with little territory gained. However, in August 2024, Russian forces made advances to the east and west of Vuhledar. East and west of Vuhledar, of east and west. So that means they're going to try a pinching operation. East, right here, probably. That's west, I'm sorry, and this is east. So they're going to go and surround Ugledar, taking control of the nearby villages of Prechitstivka and contesting Vodiane. I don't know if I have them on this one right here. I don't have. Vodiane is right here, and Prochiskovska probably is this, but it's under a different name. So here and there. All right, let's go to the next article. Sputnik. Ukraine losses over 10,700 soldiers and 84 tanks in Kursk region attack, according to the Russians. So 84 tanks. It's okay. They will receive, the Ukrainians will receive 77 tanks, Leopard 1A tanks, which is the ones designed in 56 to 60, 1960, that is, and they're operational since 1964. So it's an old dinosaur tank. I wouldn't let my kid or I wouldn't go in the tank and be a tank operator in a tank that was designed in the 1950s. You can leave your child if you want, but I wouldn't mind, or I wouldn't go. So let's see, 84 tanks in Kursk region. Well, if it's successful, then 84 tanks will get more. The Ukrainians will get more from our taxes, with the support of the arms manufacturing companies from the military-industrial complex. That is, the Ukrainian armed forces have lost over 10,700 soldiers and 84 tanks in the course of the offensive in Russia's Kursk region, this guy said. Meanwhile, over the past 24 hours, the Russian forces eliminated over 280 Ukrainian soldiers, 13 armored vehicles, including 3 tanks and 10 armored combat vehicles, 9 artillery units, including a US-made 155mm M777 howitzer, 9 vehicles, and an electronic warfare station in the Kursk direction. Obliterating this guy, it seems like. So let's see what's going on here. The Russian armed forces have also defeated the Ukrainian forces in a number of regional settlements, including Apanasovka, Vishnevska, Borki, Vnezopnoe, and Gogolevka. All right, so this is in Kursk. Where is Kursk? Let me show you. So 84 tanks were over there. 84 was it? No, that's not it. This is the one. 84 tanks in Kursk. This is where the NATO invaded Russia. Correct, correct. Now this is Kursk. Now look at this little bulge here. So this is how much the Ukrainians were able to, or the NATO forces, were able to snatch out of Russia. Now look at this proportionate, okay? Where is that? You see it? And this is the part of Russia. Why? Keep in, remember as proportionate. Remember Kursk, the oblast, because we're going to discuss of this. So this is what, 1/30th, 1/50th of the Kursk oblast, this big chunk. Remember the big chunk. Well, the Russians identify, for good reasons, I think correctly, who the main organizer in this war is, and according to them is the United Kingdom. Why? Because they're closer, and they want to destabilize Europe so they can come together with their masters, which are, it is Al Capone, take over little by little. Let me show you. This is what the Russians think. Now, if you think that this is wrong, then sleep well. Britain, thinking head of Western Hydra, that helps Zelensky regime, expert. Now, experts can make mistakes, obviously, but I agree that Britain and the United States of America are both very much and deep involved in this. Organizers. Russia has repeatedly said that Western countries' military aid to Kiev regime would only add to the prolongation of the Ukraine conflict. It is safe to say that London is directly involved in hostilities against Moscow. Okay, we know that. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. Then shut the hell up. Military journalist Alexei Borzenko told Sputnik. Now, and I'm quoting, for Moscow, Britain is the most hostile NATO country because the UK is involved in all major projects to damage Russian infrastructure and the civilian population and troops to the maximum. This guy said, who is the deputy chief editor of the literary Russian newspaper. I agree with this, the most hostile NATO country. Not only hostile by abilities and proven actions. I'm not talking about the Baltic states, because there are 6.1 million people, all three together, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. So that's, or Poland. You know, you can put Poland with a former global power, which lost its colonies by beating Hitler. Remember, Hitler told them, hey guys, you're going to have your colonies intact. Right? We don't want to fight you. We want to be partners like you are with the United States right now. And the guys that were harnessing United Kingdom at that time, plus Churchill, said, nah, our masters tell us that you are the bad guys, not the communists. Why? Because you are against communism, and communism is promoted, and those guys are in charge of Soviet Union. Therefore, you're the enemy, even though you're a capitalist country, unless you're a socialist because of the National Socialist Workers' Party. But we can't say that because we have to say that Nazis are of the right inclination, even though they were on the left. But nevertheless, you don't believe me? Well, what can I tell you? I can tell you this. The easiest way to find that out is just listen to Dinesh D'Souza. He has beautiful arguments laid down for all of us, not only in his documentary and book, and lectures and answers to questions in his little, college educated classrooms and whatever halls. But go and find out what he said about, is fascism really on the right, or Nazism was on the right? I mean, think about it. I mean, if you think that the National German Workers' Party, which is Nazi, is on the right, then Social Democrats are on the right as well. Social Democrats, which we know are on the left. You say, well, you see, it says over there, or the, I don't know, Socialist Party. You say, no, it's on the right, but it's in the name. Oh, here we take it, word by word. It's in the name, but over there we don't. So we take actions, or what? Take even actions and find out the projects that imbecile did in 1930s with Germany. Those are not capitalist projects. Those are socialist projects with the communions, kibbutzen, anyway, work on the major infrastructure projects. That was not capitalist, that was socialist. But What do I know? Go and check it out. Don't trust me. Don't believe me. Don't believe anybody. All right, so he stressed that it is in the UK where Ukrainian specialists in electronic warfare, missiles technology and strike systems using long-range artillery are trained. Not only, I think they are. You can be called the thinking head of the entire Western Hydra. All right, let's move on. Did you know that too much freedom of speech and too much knowledge is not good for you? Do you know that? So the more information you have, and not you have, you potentially have. There is, you see, that's a lot of information available over there. I like to be that. And I just pick whichever I think it's interesting. You know, whichever. But it's my choice. But the point is, I have it available over there. Now, if you have a, let's say, a spy agency, military spying agency, let's say, telling you that you shouldn't have this much information available if you want, and that should be limited because they think it's good for you, then I don't know, you're a tyrant. Why? Because you want to infringe my ability to know whatever I want to know and how much I want to know. So this is the case of Ukraine, which we know they are democratic, independent, sovereign and free country. And here is from the New Voice of Ukraine: Telegram poses national security threat to Ukraine, Budanov. So basically what this guy says, with his infirm hand, which is the left one right here. Look at his pictures. He's like Stalin. Remember, Stalin could not extend his right arm because of a carriage, an accident when he was a child in Georgia, where he's Georgian. Stalin is not Russian. No, went over and he can't extend. Everywhere will you see he's saluting and all that. He's never extending his hand, his arm, I'm sorry, never extended. The same with this guy. Watch him when he stands, the left arm he can't extend it. I don't know why. But you can only think about these guys. Anyway, so he thinks that Telegram poses a national security threat. Of course, too much information available that you want to control and you don't want your Ukrainian nation to find out. It's true, you're fighting a war, but I don't think he refers only to the war. Why? Because if you want to find information, you go on Telegram. If you want to find information, you go on, I don't know, other Western social media outlets. If you consider Telegram Western, then you see what happens to Durov right now. And it's not because he criminality. It's not. Durov and Telegram right now are at the execution wall because metaphorically, because they did not allow the Western Budanovs infiltrate them and moderate and control whatever they want to control. That's what it is. They want to limit our ability to potentially have the information. I want, as at least, or part of the 51% of our society, we want to be lied to. These guys are doing it all the time. Just watch CNN, Fox News, MSNBC. These guys are lying us nicely. But hey, that's their lying. They don't want us to be lied by the other ones. Why? Monopoly is good, I guess. So let's see what this guy is doing. Telegram poses a threat to Ukraine's national security, said. So ban it. Said that's the tyrant solution, said Kirill Budanov, head of the HUR, main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense, in an interview with Radio published on September 7th. And I'm quoting, Telegram is harmful. It's harmful to some and very helpful to many or most of us. I have never been afraid to say this. It is a threat to our national security. I am stating this very clearly, and we have even documented it. According to Budanov, military intelligence research has confirmed that Telegram is currently the primary source of information for Ukrainian public. Oy vey. You got it? It's the primary source. That means that the Ukrainian population actually is very informed, having access to many other options, and that means that's why these guys don't want to give them the opportunity to maybe vote. Why? Extending the martial law will keep these guys away from the voting polls, but it doesn't really matter. As Stalin said, let them vote, as long as we count the votes, or our machines count the vote, to be more close to home. You know what I mean? If you don't, oh my God, we got a lot of work to do here. While Budanov does not support the idea of shutting down or blocking Telegram within Ukraine, they will. That's why they talk about. He believes that identities of channel owners on the messenger need to be disclosed. Yeah, you're from opening it, right? To what? For you to spy on people and what they say and find out and then send your squads to do a little Daria Dugina or the other guy, whatever his name was, the blogger in St. Petersburg. You want that? Send your crews that you never paid for. And then you say, well, we're happy that happened. All right. I advocate for physicalizing all Telegram. Physicalizing? Is that what it is? All the Telegram channels. All. If you want to broadcast news, please register to that everyone knows if it's a channel belongs to a citizen or Russia or Ukraine. Then this is accountability. Really. Then it's like this, Budanov. Remember these imbeciles here, these media operatives, these system operatives. When they want to tell us something that I don't think they have the information, they say like this: according to a person familiar with the matter, or anonymously, or a person who did not want to reveal his identity for concerns. And they say, someone said, and what they say, you can't verify. Could be a lie, but they will never reveal the source for, confidentiality reasons. Or maybe the person didn't want, or they don't want to disclose it. No, I can assume that's nobody over there. It's just they making shit up. It's like right now I tell you, according to my sources in the let's say CIA, the Americans are planning to overthrow the government of United States of America, the CIA. Let's say, but hey, that's a source. Now, obviously, that's not the case. But can I say that? Or there would be misinformation, disinformation, lie. You cannot verify that, and I can't disclose my source. As these guys don't disclose their source. But why CNN, New York Times, all these guys are, and Fox, and can hide behind this, which I accepted. I accepted. Sometimes you can't reveal your sources. But these guys are doing constantly to tell these kind of things that you cannot verify. Telling a big lie, saying a person familiar with the matter. Fuck off. What if I say the same thing and I start saying all kind of outrageous lies here? And you can't verify. And I said, the sources cannot. They work in CIA, they work in Mossad, they work in MI6, they work in Stasi. Oh, they're done. Oh, my bad. All right, let's say. So the same when this guy says, you need to know. No, you don't need to know. Otherwise, you would require all the media to reveal their sources and who they got the information from. Don't tell me, oh, we gotta know. You gotta know for what? For retribution? I guess. So let's move on to the next article. Now this is something very funny. I covered it in a little program before this, a video. After losing a chunk, this is Business Insider. After losing, remember when I told you a chunk of Russian territory to Ukraine, Putin said it wasn't that important anyway. Well, it is important because you got invaded and your country is occupied. It's important. But remember, losing a chunk. Now, I don't know about you, but when you say a chunk, is this a small piece or kind of like chunk? Chunk is a big piece. It's not a small piece. Well, let's put it in. Remember, I showed you that map and I wanted you to remember, and I hope you did. This is the chunk. You see this chunk? Now, let's look at it. I'm going to show you the map of Russia. So you don't even see the chunk over there. It's like my strong hand. You see my strong palm? Okay, so here it is. And this is Kursk Oblast. Let me show you a map. Map of Russia. Can you point to the chunk? Now let's go and find out where Kursk is. Kursk is right here, where the magnifying glass is right here. This is as big. This is Russia. Let me get myself out, if I may, right there. So you see this? So this is Kursk Oblast right here. And there is a little piece over there, like a piece when I go to the bathroom, which is this. So you tell me if you would consider all this, that's a chunk. You see this? This is Kursk here. This is the chunk these guys are talking about, every you can see it right here. That's it. That's the chunk. And they say that Putin somehow should be all screwed up because of that chunk. And I'm going to give you again the magnitude of the Russian. Right there. Can't do that. Okay, whatever then. You don't want to cooperate, I will make you cooperate. Right? So, let's go to the next article. Putin think is not a big deal. I think Putin is just realistic. Indeed, yes, you lost. And why should you be so important anyway? It's not important, but I think they are right. And Ukraine launches surprise offensive, pip, and Putin's right here. Next. Ukraine new foreign minister, Mr. Whatever his name is, Kuleba, was fired. And we have the new foreign minister holds talks with, and why is he talking with Blinken, the Jewish foreign minister of the American people, Baerbock, the infantile German foreign minister, and Odobescu. Odobescu is the foreign minister of this shitty country called Romania. Why do I call it that way? Because it's an occupied country. Occupied by whom? Well, here is Romania. All right? This is it. And I said it because we need to take care of these guys, but you can't because you have NATO troops on your territory and your country is infiltrated and owned. Politically, economically, militarily, and culturally. What do you want? You want me to call that pinnacle heaven? No, that's shitty. Very shitty. For the Romanians. Now, I know that some Romanians feel comfortable being serfs. I know a lot of them. Why? I mean, if you look 3 generations back, they were. So you don't change that kind of genetic, okay? But it's okay. Some of us don't like that. Some of us want to be independent and free and be the master of our own destiny. Don't be like, can I do this? What do you say? Yeah. Remember, this saying comes from a certain part of Romania that I think will clearly exemplify their mentality. And I'm going to say it in Romanian, and then I will say it in English. I'll try to, paraphrase it. Capul plecat, sabia nu-l taie. And that is the bowed head, the sword will not cut. That means if you are a slave, a servant, you will not be killed by your master. So that is, you gotta be a slave and have a master, and that means you will survive. I don't like that. I've never liked it. In the 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade, the teachers always try to tell us that, yeah, do this. He was from that part of Romania, by the way. A capul plecat sabia nu-l taie. I was like, what are you talking about? I don't want to be in that position. And we have the other one. Better to die like a lion than than live like a caged lion. But some people have different ways of seeing things. That's why we have to come back to Romania and straighten things out. But how can you? You have to start here because those guys are owned by these guys. All right, now I moved a little bit further. But why did they talk? Let me show you this next article with the same topic. Ukraine's new foreign minister holds first conversations with his U.S., that is Blinken, German, Baerbock, and Romanian Odobescu counterparts. Why? Well, does that have anything to do with the Romanian border here with Ukraine? And they need to be able to transport and produce and send all kind of arms and instructors and military here to find the evil Russians? I think so. I think it's related. What do you think? So let's see what these guys are telling us. Andriy Sibiha. I don't care if I pronounce it correct. That's my pronunciation. Ukraine's newly appointed Minister of Foreign Affairs has held telephone discussions with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock, and Romanian Foreign Minister Luminița Odobescu. All right. Sibiha noted that during his conversation with Blinken, they discussed accelerating the delivery of military aid through where? Clipa-țapa, Clopa-lupa, Zupa-țupa. That's the Romanian occupied territory. The implementation of the Ukrainian peace formula and enhancing sanctions against Russia. You got it? There you go. So let's see. In a conversation with German counterpart Annalena, this guy expressed his gratitude for Germany's support for Ukraine. The ministers, coordinated their positions before the opening of the UN. Let's see where he talks with. During the call with his Romanian counterpart, Luminița Odobescu, the ministers discussed ways to deepen good neighborly relations between Ukraine and Romania. Okay, Sibiha thanked Romania, no thank you, for its decision to supply Ukraine with a Patriot air defense missile system. Now, listen to this. Good neighboring relations. I will give you good relations right now. You see this? This was part of Romania, this was part of Romania, this was part of Romania, and the Snake Island located in the Black Sea here was part of Romania. When you give us that back, when you take your military out of the country and we take care of the traitors and the guys in charge of the traitors, then yes, we're gonna have neighborly relations with you. Fantastic. Until then, no. Thank you very much. All right, let's move on. This is an article right here, the name of an article that I found today. And let me show you when I try to access, it's a different title. But why? So this is the title. This is coming from Reuters. UK-US spy chiefs call for, and I'm quoting, staying the course on Ukraine. Reuters, September 7, 2024. Okay, you see that picture? And if you go down, it says, London, the heads of the EU, Okay, now I do this right there. I put the same title, and it comes up this. All right, well, it says by Reuters. So, or here, right here, let's go here, right here, it's even by Reuters. And I'm going to access that, and it comes something different than my title. You see? It comes something different than my title. CIA, my title was UK-US spy chiefs call for staying the course on Ukraine. Reuters, remember? And this guy saying, no. CIA director says more detailed Gaza ceasefire proposal due in days. And they're the same. London, the head of the CIA, they changed the shit. And I go down here, I don't find that. I don't find it. And I'm crying like a baby. So the title is UK-US spy chiefs call for staying the course in Ukraine. As far as I read about this one, somehow CIA, which is, intelligence services, they sometimes overthrow certain things in different countries. They say stay the course in Ukraine. Weren't you involved? It's a question. Weren't you involved, CIA and others, in overthrowing a democratically elected, legitimate government of Ukraine in 2014 in spring? So I think you're responsible big time for the destabilization and the occurrence of this war. I think you're directly involved and not directly responsible. I think you are, but it's my assessment, crazy assessment, idiotic assessment of a free person. If I am a free person, I should be free to say my opinions, gut feelings, and assessments about anything, any subject I want without any retribution. Nevertheless, let's see. So the fact that this guy's staying the course, what does that mean? You stay the course? Are you involved? Yes, you are. The Russians claim that not only the Russians, CIA had about 12 bases of training, and not only of Ukrainians. Budanov was trained by CIA according to some sources. Yeah, the guy who is upset about Telegram and says that Telegram is a national security threat. That guy. And CIA says we should, and UK. These guys are thousands of miles away from the location where war is waged. By whom? By evil Russians who attacked Ukraine unprovoked. Please, my friends. And now let's look at the last article here, which is again, the Americans are pushed from behind or ordered, dragged by that little country in the Middle East to attack Iran with our power doing their dirty garbage over there. Why? Because some people occupy some other people's lands and then they populate that land with against the United Nations international law violation. But hey, we're going to fight the Iranians for perpetual victims. Ukrainska Pravda, US responds to Iran sending its missiles to Russia. No, that's not a fact. And you are sending missiles and everything else to Ukraine. So, but you're the goods, right? You self-identify as the good. But hey, remember this one right here? Who overthrew the who? Actually, it's not there. It's right here. Staying the course. Who overthrew who? All right, saying this is sharp escalation of war. So Iran sends missiles to Russia, sharp escalation. The other guys send F-16s, tanks, provide intelligence, sources, training, howitzers, armored vehicles, fighting vehicles, HIMARS, Patriot, air defense systems. I think not only instructors and trainers, I think there are also troops over there. They sent everything but nuclear weapons, and you tell me that no, that's not an escalation. This is a sharp escalation when this guy sent missiles. That is this much, and we sent this much. Now you're telling me, as an American, what am I supposed to say? Now, if I'm a garbage, I will say, yeah, man, that's an escalation. Why? You know why? Because I'm a selfish, subjective motherfucker. That's why. And I'm going to say, yeah, I don't care. I don't care about that. I just want things. And if I want things, whatever these guys are doing in my behalf, not knowing that these guys are continuing pounding my ass, and they will continue to do that to my children, your children, my grandchildren. Why? Because they can. So I'm supposed to say that? Well, if I'm like that kind, I would say, yeah, man, it's an escalation. Ignoring the fact that my government, in my name, without asking me whatsoever, yeah, they asked me one time, who are you going to vote for? I'm going to vote for Gigi. But I didn't know Gigi was a war criminal or will become a war criminal in my name, claiming that he's actually defending my family and our values, which, okay, leave me the fuck alone. Anyway, let's move on here. I'm going to just have a little heart attack here. The US has said that any supply of ballistic missiles by Iran to Russia would mean a sharp escalation of the Russo-Ukrainian war. And I'm quoting this guy from White National Security Council spokesperson. Not man, spokesperson. We have been warning of the deepening security partnership between Russia and Iran since the outset of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, and we are alarmed by these reports. Could be lies, could be. I think it was Wall Street Journal that said, according to some sources, not named, that, oh, I got scared. My fucking cat jumped on the desk. Jesus. Any transfer of Iranian ballistic missiles to Russia would represent a dynamic escalation, dramatic escalation in Iran's support for Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine. What are you going to do? You're gonna what? The transfer comes as the United States and partners, including in Europe, have warned that Iran's move could have consequences. Oh, threatening. Western countries have been watching the deepening ties between Iran and Russia in recent months with concern. Now, let me tell you this. The Iranians obviously say, quote from Iranian mission to United Nations, Iran considers the provision of military assistance to the parties engaged in conflict, which leads to increased human casualties, destruction of infrastructure, and distancing from ceasefire negotiation to be inhumane. Thus, not only does Iran abstains from engaging in such action itself, but it also calls upon other countries that, hint, not really, call them out, to seize the supply of weapons or to the sides involved in the conflict. End quote. I think this is reasonable. I made a video a few days ago, maybe 2 or 3 days ago, where Lavrov said that they're about to sign a, how do you call that? I don't want to go back and look for it, but it's about 2 days ago, partnership, a strategic partnership. They will reach they're working on little details. And I said in that video that would give a window of opportunity for the United States of America to attack Iran. Because in this window of opportunity, these are not allied, written. They are allied, but not, okay? So if you do this now, which could last a few weeks, then we say, well, you cannot intervene Russia because you're not in a partnership. And this is an escalation. They claim, Wall Street Journal comes and tells us all that these guys did that. Where's the evidence? Well, they said that. I don't believe it. I don't believe a word those guys are saying until I verify it. Big time. Is there a way to verify it? How do I verify that? I can't. I can't verify it. So I have to believe them. So I remain with, no, I don't think that's a fact. And I'm trying to put things together with other things that I know for sure. In this case, those guys want the Americans to do something to the Iranians, and they will try it as fast as possible. Now remember, Russia's nuclear weapons use doctrine has 4 parts. One of them says this: if Russia and one of our allies or friendly country, I think it's allies, which Iran is one of them, not on the paper, but there is attacked with conventional weapons or with nuclear weapons, we can use nuclear weapons. So be careful. Even if these guys, Lavrov and the foreign minister of Iran, are not signing anything yet, or Putin and whomever is right now the president of Iran, I can't remember his name, now that the Raisi, all right, now, how do you call it? If they do have to do it in this period of time, if these guys attack Iran, the Russians will defend Iran, and Israel knows that, United States knows that, but they try to build it for a baboons, the idea that they are on the right side of the whole equation. Yeah, I mean, these guys, Iran is developing nuclear weapons, Israel tells us, and experts, and independent, non-partisan NGOs, and you can't make shit up. Anyway, they're making a nuclear weapon. That's bad because they're bad. Second one, we have the situation with all those guys in the Middle East, including the Houthis that are on the Iranian payroll. We have Hezbollah. We have, obviously, in Lebanon. We have Hamas in everywhere. All right, under my desk and everywhere else, right? Jesus Christ. And then we have to do this. And on top of that, these guys send weapons to Russia, who attacked unprovoked Ukraine. I mean, look at that. This is the evil. We have to take care of it because we're good. They tell us. Well, that could be one interpretation, one baboonish extreme interpretation, which I don't buy shit. Why? I know those guys, I know these guys, I know the Russians, I know these guys. How much I know, but I can't turn or switch to full retard mode because, I have to be with the herd. No, I'm going to be with the herd. The herd, let be the herd, go over like the lemmings over the cliff. Dr. William? Yeah, like the lemmings trumping and going down the cliff, Mr. Dr. William. Anyway, that's one of his examples. All right, my friends, here it is. They're getting ready. The little opportunity is closing. And I think those guys over there, the little Middle Eastern thing, they will push these guys with our resources to go somewhere where it's not our interest. Remember, Israel and United States of America's interests are not like this. They don't coincide. When Israel has an interest, somehow that is US's interest, which is not. But US has an interest, Israel can veto it whenever it wants. Well, that's not our interest. Fuck you. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.